True North Reviews, True North Reviews, True North Reviews.
Hey there, welcome to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are discussing the Morgan Wallen double-length LP, Dangerous. This is the sophomore album release from one of country's hottest and also most controversial figures in 2021. After climbing the charts with one of the most hyped albums I've seen in a while, it seems like everyone's been streaming this on Apple Music and Spotify. I figured, hey, there's gotta be something interesting about this album, I should listen to it, but maybe wait on a review for the hype to die down, and there's also 30 songs on this, so that's a lot to listen to. Well, that initial plan backfired because I'm sitting here in a very awkward position wanting to discuss the music, but that's not the entire picture. As some of you may know, on my channel I like to take some time before a review to contextualize the art and the artist and how they fit into the music industry. And yeah, the industry specific to country and around Tennessee lately has been flooded with a lot of news, a lot of questions, and publicity about Morgan Wallen. He's of course no stranger to controversy. He had a few issues last year as well, but the one that is of utmost importance that I urge everyone watching this video to read about is the story that broke at the beginning of February. Morgan returned to his home after a 72-hour bender and was filmed and exposed for saying the N-word. First things first, this is disgraceful, this is disturbing, this is really just disappointing, plain and simple. This also opens a can of worms that would make a lot of people uncomfortable, including myself as I bring this up, but I figured this is something that ought to be mentioned before reviewing the music here. Avoiding it would only make things worse and ignorant, in my opinion. That being said, by no means am I intending to deter you from listening to the music itself. Heck, this album will still chart very well despite Wallen's label suspending him indefinitely, his songs being pulled from the radio, and him being disqualified from some award shows. Slap on the wrist aside, whether more punishment is coming, whatever side of the argument you're on, I just ask that you please keep this social backlash in mind while listening to Dangerous. Consider that humans are capable of terrible mistakes, and art and artistry can be blurred as a consequence of that. Nope, not defending Morgan for his actions. I hope he learns a lesson, and that's the last point I want to make about this before discussing the music today. But for any further detail on that story, I will provide a link below, and hey, Google's a thing. Now, Morgan Wallen, as an artist, has been someone that I've been unfamiliar with in the past. Is he bro country? Does he write ballads? I had no clue. Then I heard one of the teaser tracks for Dangerous called 7 Summers, and I was reeled in by its nostalgic sound and breezy guitars. Interesting song, but of course, for 30 of them to work on a double LP, Morgan sure as hell better do that song justice or prove to be more versatile. Thank God he went with the latter, because if you had told me I would enjoy this album after just getting 30 slight variations of 7 Summers, I would have thought you were crazy. The next worry I had after that was, yes, still the double album part. Come on, are we spamming the world for people to pick their favorite songs for playlists, or is there something deeper and more ambitious going on here? I would think it's a bit of both, a cop-out answer of course, but there is certainly a lot of talent and songwriting ability that Morgan has to have in order to be able to perform country songs across a wide spectrum of styles, whether they are more traditional or more modern. Pop, R&B, trap, honky-tonk, name a genre or subgenre that's been tied to country over the past 30 years or so, and it's most likely here. Granted, sonically and thematically, Dangerous is tied together by its cliches and bro country, but the real glue here is the emotion and the sad, slow songs on this project. For example, Sand in My Boots is an emotional piano ballad that took me by complete surprise as an opener to this album. The curveballs keep coming on the very next track, Wasted on You, which features a snap beat over a 6/8 rhythm and twangy guitars. Arguably, the cut Warning that shows up later on disc 1 is not as enjoyable for its trap aesthetic since it's disingenuous in my opinion. I hear a lot of of Yellow Wolf on there, just very confusing. Returning to the more emotional songs on disc 1 that wear their heart on their sleeve, the major theme is nostalgia and emotion. Somebody's Problem flows with a solid structure, smooth transitions, great cadence and resolutions to all the melodic ideas. More Surprised Than Me is a slow song meant for dancing in the dark with an incredibly contagious banjo melody. 865, that song is probably got the catchiest phone number melody since Tommy Two Tone's 867-5309. Then we have the cut Outlaw. I'm so happy about this one being outlaw country as the main focus. It would be such a tease if it wasn't, after all, being titled Outlaw. Your Bartender is a great song for its melody. Sadly, this one could have had more potential for its lyrics. It got a little unfocused and generic with the "if I was your car, if I was your radio, if I was your Bible." It just seems like it was meandering and listing off hypotheticals instead of getting to the root of an emotion, which was clearly meant to be bitterness and resentment. But by the time the heartbreak and the bar analogies came through on the chorus, I tapped out. And not the beer tap kind. Naturally, the bar themes keep coming on Only Thing That's Gone featuring Chris Stapleton. Morgan essentially doubles up on the bartender topic, a little redundant in the grand scheme of the album, but I can't deny the fantastic vocal harmonies that he has with Chris. And I gotta say, Morgan carries this album for the most part, but the couple features that I picked out were the perfect choice. What wasn't exactly a feature but a cover of a song is the song Cover Me Up. This is of course by Jason Isbell, and by that fact alone you know the songwriting is going to be up to par. The vocal performance is equally there from Morgan, and it's a touching and sweet rendition of one of Jason's finest. And that's pretty much every song I want to highlight on the first side of the album, besides I'd Be Here Forever if I went in depth on everything. So moving on to the second side, it's stylistically more upbeat, more uplifting, and chocked full of bro country tracks. In some reviews I've seen of this album, they've been getting the most amount of hate, but for some reason I'm a sucker for them. And yes, I know I run the risk of sounding like a hypocrite after I didn't enjoy Luke Bryan or Sam Hunt's albums last year, but something about Morgan Wallen, there's just that it factor. I would attribute it to twangy, catchy songwriting with stellar production that is ready to fill a stadium. What You Think of Country Now is unapologetic. Somethin Country is a banger with an irresistible hook that's impossible not to sing along with. Need a Boat, despite the mindless lyrics, the honky tonk it doesn't stop there either. Beer Don't. It might be a guilty pleasure of mine. Me on Whiskey has one of the stickiest hooks on the projects. Still Going Down is irresistible as well, and Silverado for Sale is a deep cut with a deep story. The last couple compliments I gotta pay to the second disc is on Livin' the Dream. This is a late night kind of driving song. This comes back to back with the Wallen album mix of Heartless, where Morgan leans into his pop sensibilities, and instead of them being a crutch, he sparingly puts pop to good use. And he does so on the album in general, although there are a handful of speed bumps along the way. For example, the title track Dangerous has virtually the same intro as Seven Summers. Blame It On Me is ripping off Southern Girl by Tim McGraw. It's kind of obvious with the bright and poppy energy, clap beat, and melody, it's all there. And that brings me to my overall thoughts. On the negative side, most of the lyrics aren't anything new for contemporary country. Half the time Morgan repeats the cliches of being a bartender, drinking, or wanting to be on a boat. That sounds familiar, right? But this is an entirely different album experience that is nowhere near the pain and torture I felt with Luke Bryan last year. Morgan pads the runtime with what I can sense is more genuine heart and emotion. The instrumentation and production are also complementary and give Dangerous a cohesive, nostalgic, and breezy aesthetic that at the least is interesting and at the most is making me want to attend Boots and Hearts, the music festival, which would be a first. Yes, 30 songs, some could have been cut, I will agree. But with all that being said about the music, I am feeling a 7 out of 10 on this album, a very long album at that, but I'm glad I could finally put my thoughts down in a video for them. And there you have it. There's the album review for today. Make sure you guys sound off down below in the comments. Tell me what you guys think of this music and Morgan Wallen. If you agree, disagree, I'm here to engage with you guys. If you'd like to leave a like, subscribe if you're new in town. I'd appreciate that as always. Thanks for watching and have a rockin' day.